Hi everyone. So we are coming out with another new video after a gap of a couple of months. So it has been a long time since we have come out with another content over YouTube channel. So let me begin this video by introducing myself for especially the viewers who might be watching our video for the first time. This is Ashnat Kothari here. I'm a qualified investment actuary. I have been teaching actuarial science professionally for the last 7.5 years. Along with that, I have close to 6 years of work experience in actuarial domain as well, which involves 2 years in property and casualty and the remaining 4 years in investment modeling as well as investment advisory. With me, we have Gunjan as well. So there are two of us in Finatics who train students in the various different papers as well as providing them relevant guidance with respect to their actuarial career. So Gunjan is also a qualified associate actuary. She has cleared around 14 papers, is left with just one paper, and hopefully she'll be done with that in this sitting as well. So this is a brief introduction regarding me as well as my colleague at Fanatics. So before we start with the solution discussion, let me first give you all updates regarding the new batches for the IEI Me 2024 session as well as IFoA April 2024 session. We would be starting with our new batches on 8th of October 2023 itself. So, classes are available in live offline mode in Calcutta, live online mode, as well as pre-recorded lectures. So, location is not at all a barrier. In whichever part of the country or world you are, if you want to learn, you can definitely enroll with us and, use our educational content. We have students from almost all the states in India, as well as we have actual learners from 30 different countries around the world. So this was with respect to the batches. Keep in mind, all of you have access to live online, live offline, as well as pre-recorded content. There are no additional charges for getting access to the different mode. Another important update was, something probably which will make a lot of you happy, especially ones who are based out of Calcutta. In the last session, many of you had requested, if you can come to the center and, you can study there separately since you all find it difficult to study, let's say in your college or at your PG, because the environment does not allow it. So starting from this session, our center would remain open where students can come, stay there, study there, interact with other peers who are preparing for the same papers. I hope this is something which will genuinely help you all a lot in your preparation as you would be in more direct touch with your peers who are, preparing for the same paper and you can leverage out of their knowledge as well. So this was one important update which I had to share with you all. As for the frequency of our classes for the next batch, given the festivities in the month of October and November, as well as many colleges having their semester and examinations in the month of November, frequency would be usually 1 to 2 classes per week in the month of October and November on average. Starting from December, the frequency will shoot up for let's say 4 to 6 classes a week, and that is gonna stay till January. Again, this might vary paper to paper, but for the core CM and CS papers, this is how it's gonna be there. That's what we have planned currently. This would also allow the students who are appearing from IEI who have their examinations in the month of November, that when they come back in the last week of November and December, they would not have missed a lot of content in the live classes, which earlier they were doing so. So this is gonna be a win-win situation for all of them. You all can enjoy your festivities because the pressure in our classes will not that be high in October and November, as well as those who are appearing from II. Once you come back in last week of November and December, you would not have missed much content, and you can be at par, study with your peers, be at the same pace, and let's say by the end of December you should be at par with your IFoA peers as well. So this was with respect to the frequency of classes. We firmly believe in starting as soon as possible and completing the syllabus well ahead in time. So we do intend to complete the syllabus latest by February end, and we are targeting to complete, let's say, by mid-Feb, so that ones who are appearing from IFoA have at least around 6 to 8 weeks to revise, appear for past your papers under exam conditions, mark yourself, analyze your mistakes, and work towards it. And ones who are gonna appear from II, you're gonna have around, let's say, 10 to 12 weeks for same. Since we firmly believe that starting early and staying regular is extremely important from preparation point of view, and we want to provide more incentive to our students to follow this methodology. It has worked for me very well. It has worked for a lot of our students pretty much well, especially ones who have got caught up in difficult circumstances due to academics, personal events, or so on, they have realized if they start early, they have a lot of buffer time, and this helps them to go ahead with their original plan to sit for whatever papers they have determined, instead of having to change the plans because of certain other health issues, personal issues, certain other events coming up. So to further incentivize our students to start preparing early, we are coming up with early bird offers. So whoever is enrolling with us before 30th September 2023, we are gonna offer certain flat reduction in your fees. Do keep in mind we have a single live batch only for each paper, each session, and admissions are solely on first come, first serve basis. So these early bird offers will also be available on a first come, first serve basis. It could be that you're enrolling before 30th September, let's say 29th, 30th September, but if you have already filled our batches, in that case, it would not be eligible. Keep in mind DTH classes or recorded lectures, there is no limit on that. Any one of you can join at any stage of time, but ones who want to experience the full services we provide, especially the live classes, doubt clearing, we would strongly suggest for you all to join as early as possible. And we hope that you do join us as soon as you would, as soon as you can, and you have a meaningful, impactful, and wonderful learning experience with us. Also keep in mind that some of you always have this in mind, just now we have given the exams, why start so early, let's wait for a couple of weeks or for the results. So once we have appeared for, let's say, CM1 paper, which was the first set of exams, your results will be out around 12 weeks. It does not make sense to me to absolutely waste those 12 weeks, do nothing. Instead of that, what you should do is start your preparation immediately. And then obviously, later on, basis the results of preparation, you can take a call on, which papers you want to give. We have had students who are preparing and clearing 3 to 4 exams in a single term. Some of these are working as well. And remember, when you're working, it becomes extremely challenged. When you're at college, you have more liberty of time, you can continue with the way you want to prepare. So I don't see any harm in you all starting early. Obviously, breaks are needed in life. It's not about just clearing exams. But if you are into actuarial, you want to make a career out of it, you want to really stand out and be among the best. Starting early is does not have any issues. Obviously, you wanna have to put effort, and there is a trade-off whether you just want to enjoy, do nothing qualitative with respect to your actual thing. So that's a trade-off you'll obviously have to make. Other than that, I don't see any harm. It's better that you get done with your exams as quickly as you can. Obviously, not neglecting other things, but just keeping all other factors constant. You just preparing for one paper for last 2 3 months instead of preparing for multiple papers using full 6 months. It's really gonna help you in the larger scheme of things as well as in the long term. In my case, also, I used to start immediately post giving my exams. Obviously, I enjoyed a lot in preparing for actual exams. I realize some of you might not enjoy that much, so you would want to start a bit late, which is fine, but you should not wait for the results to come because that is absolutely wastage of time. April session is a longer one. Do utilize it to the fullest. I mean, most of you, especially ones who are not working, can easily prepare for 2 papers, if not 2 full papers. Let's say one paper from CM and CS, one paper from CV. Exam format is also scheduled to get changed from the April term. Again, clarity on that would come from IFoA in the month of November. So definitely use this time. In the long term, you're really gonna thank yourself that yes, you took the effort, you did study for multiple subjects. Obviously, it's gonna take more of your time right now, but it's something which is gonna reward you a lot in the long term. So preparation, I feel, never goes for waste. Even if you do not clear the paper, you do not complete your journey of clearing all actual exams, you stop it midway, your preparation never goes for waste. And if you start early, you cannot, you can devote time to understand what things are, not just study for the sake of it to clear exams. I understand that is one objective, very important objective. But the larger thing is you understand the concepts very well, you're very strong conceptually, and you have the ability to apply it in real life as well, not just in academia, but in several day-to-day decision makings, be it your investments, be it your business and all. I do feel that, whatever things we study, there's always a place where we could apply it, certain traditional ways, certain non-traditional ways. So if you're starting early, you have the time to explore that. If you start late, if you're not studying regularly, I mean, after a point of time, you would be just focused on, studying, practicing questions with the purpose of clearing exams, which is fine. But again, there is something better, on which we can do. So yes, that's the suggestion from my side. Do start early and stay regular, and Very simple thing, but extremely productive when it comes to giving the much desired output in the form of academic success. Let's get started with the discussion of CS1 paper A. So first, with respect to the difficulty, I will say it was an easy paper. In the past few sittings, the papers, at least the paper A part, has been pretty much easy, and this term also that was the case. There were only 10 questions. The paper was relatively short. There were a couple of questions which, would have tested those candidates who had not practiced that much. When I was going through certain scripts of a few of the students, they did make certain silly errors, but overall, the paper was easy. As with respect to an indication of the pass marks, let's say 58 plus minus 2, so somewhere in the range of 56 to 60 it shall be there, depending on how paper B also turns out to be there. So also keep in mind that in case you do observe any sort of calculation mistakes or any sort of errors in the solutions we have discussed, do let us know through the comments section. We'll definitely take a look at same, and in case we find merit in those, we would be pushing in the rectifications through the comments section itself. So when you're watching the video, make sure you are referring to the comments section. In case there are any rectifications, we shall be posting it through comments and pinning that particular comment. So let's get started with the first one. Consider a random variable x with a discrete uniform distribution on the integer numbers 22, 79. Part 1 was expected value, part 2 was standard deviation. Most of you have got part 1 correct. Some of you made error in part 2 where you directly use the formula of k square minus 1 by 12 without adjusting the value of k over there, and you all took k as 79, which was incorrect. So you could refer to page 10 of actuarial tables where the mean of a uniform distribution is given, and that's a more general form. One, the more frequently used one which you would have practiced would be taking the values 1, 2, 3, 4, so on. So the results k plus 1 by 2, k square minus 1 whole divided by 12 is applicable for that. But for a more general case wherein the starting point could be different from 1, where the step size is not definitely 1 but could be something else as well, there's a more general format given as well. So A, which is the starting value, is 20. H is basically the increment, that is the difference between two consecutive values, and B is nothing but the end value. This is the formula for expectation. This is the formula for variance. So some of you did make errors in part 2. Next, moving to question 2, which was again fairly straightforward. First, we need to find the value of A. A is coming out to be minus 1 by 200. Then we need to compute the conditional probability of X being greater than 16, given that it is greater than 8. So x greater than 16 is coming out to be 0.04, x greater than 8 is 0.36, answer is 1 by 9. So a couple of you I saw making errors wherein, uh, let's say you incorrectly computed A due to some calculation mistake, or over here, like one of the scripts I was going through, instead of finding x greater than, 16 or 8, they found out x less than 8, x less than 16. So they got something like, let's say 0.96 divided by 0.64, and then they just took the reverse of it because probability cannot be more than 1. In one of the scripts, a very bad mistake was done in the sense that we had to divide probability x greater than 16 by x greater than 8. So that student had written that, but instead of taking 1 by 9, had mentioned the answer as 9. Now, a common sense check is that probabilities cannot be more than 1. So the moment you are getting something more than 1 means you have done some error, and that is something by this stage you should be able to, identify it. These mistakes, I would say, is something is not expected, honestly, because this is the most easy way to sense check, especially for this sort of question, that probabilities cannot be more than 1. Next, moving forward to question 3, part 1, this is nothing but negative binomial type 2. Part 2, expressing it in the given format, getting option A. Part 3, these are the steps. KQ by P, you could compare it with the values of mean and variance given in the actual tables as well. Part 4, variance is KQ by P square, and it's coming out to be 4C. So over here, part C is KQ by P square. Next, moving forward to question 4, which was more of the theoretical lines bookwork. So skipping that, question number 5. This is solution for same. Again, this is not very difficult question, at least for ones, who would have taken our classes. Minimum, maximum functions we have already dealt with. And more specifically, there were questions for the exponential part as well. Similar type of question, not exactly, but on similar level has come even in the previous years. So a couple of scripts which I did go through, they had, correctly performed this. So in part, two, this is just what I'm trying to show is, Z can be expressed as X plus Y minus W. Again, from here directly, I might not write CDF of Z is CDF of X plus CDF of Y minus CDF of W. A more technical way to derive it is accompanied later, but this is just for you all to show, how you can understand the relation between different variables. Then part 3a, we were getting the CDF of z to be 1 minus e to the power minus 12s, which is nothing but the form of an exponential distribution with parameter 12. That is what we've done in part 3b. Moving forward to question 6, probability question. Fairly straightforward question, this I would say, but many students have performed poorly in this, and I was disappointed because this is the most simple case of, probability question they could give, keeping in mind that they would be asking you to apply base formula as well, or should I say base theorem. So part 1 is 0.9, part 2 showing it to be 8.3%, part 3, what we're basically looking for is probability that the number of trains involved is less than 3, which is either it's 1 or 2, given that a train has been delayed. So we need to find probability A given D. I'm inverting it. So this can be written as probability D given A into probability A divided by probability of D, and on getting you're getting 66 by 83. So you will see that in first part it's 90%, whereas in second part this will be closely something 80%. So you need to comment on that in part 4. So part 3 is something which most of the students didn't attempt correctly, at least the scripts which I have seen so far, a couple of them. Either they have skipped this question altogether or they couldn't get it right. Again, this paper was a relatively very short one. So it's a difficult in case, somebody comes up and say that they couldn't complete the paper, means there is substantially, I will say, issues with the practice. Else, I mean, if you cannot solve a question, that is fine. Some of the questions you might not be able to crack it, but time factor should not have been an issue for this script. It was a fairly short paper. Next question 7, part 1 is option C. Again, here, a couple of them did make mistakes in part 2, I will say. So over here, the trick is to, that let's say if you have a variable y, you can write y as also e to the power ln y. The intention of doing this is we need to bring it in a similar structure. So like over here, we have y1, y2, y and so on, uh, which is whole to the power minus c over here. Uh, So this is proportional again. I have not rectified this over here, but it needs to be done. So let's say, this whole to the power minus c is fine. Now y1, y2, yn can be written as e to the power ln of y1, y2, y3, y4, so on. And log ab is nothing but log a plus log b. So this entire thing can be written as e to the power b plus ln y1 plus ln y2 plus ln y3, so on. And we get this distribution. Part 3, the prior was gamma, posterior was also gamma, so this is nothing but conjugate prior. Part 4, we need to find the Bayesian estimate of Bayesian estimate of a loss. So, or rather the quadratic estimates, that is nothing but the mean of the posterior. For a gamma distribution, that's nothing but of the form alpha by lambda, where alpha is the first parameter, lambda is the second parameter. Substituting the desired values, we get this. Question number 8 again. Part 1 is option B. Part 2 again it's gamma. Part 3, we need to find under all or nothing loss, which is nothing but the mode, which for a gamma is alpha minus 1 by lambda, if you recall. If not, you can just derive it and get the result. Now, one silly mistake here, even when I was computing, was there was summation xi square into half. I forgot initially to multiply by half, and I was getting a different answer. Later on, cross-checking and just rechecking my workings, I realized this. So the final answer was coming out to be 16 by 53. Question number 9. Again, this was fairly straightforward. So R is coming out to be 0.9930815. Test statistic is 22.375. We have sufficient evidence to reject H naught at 1% level of significance. Part 2 was Cummins based, so we could see a strong positive linear relationship. Part 3, this is the value of alpha and beta. Part 4, keep in mind I did not get time to fully, check this calculation again, was slightly short on time. So, I mean, you all can just cross check it. Even the couple of scripts I was going through of my students, they were getting pretty different answers. So, just one of them was getting an answer around this, but others were getting pretty much different answers. And I could identify some of the other calculation mistake. So for this specific part, yeah, I mean, in case you observe any calculation errors, please let us know through the comment section. We'll question the correct calculations. And I would be also taking out time in the coming week to just redo this part and just see whether the answer is coming out in this form or not. And in case it's different, I'll be pushing it myself directly through the comments section. Finally, question number 10. Part 1 was again pretty straightforward, yet some of you did make certain calculation errors. So this is what I'm getting. Part 2, calc computation of R. R is again coming out to be extremely close to 1. Part 3 is bookwork. Part 4 was, I will not say different, but still some of you made error. So here we had to test the difference between the mean crime rates, whereas some of you, what you did was find the difference between the income rate, which was not intended. So this is the solution. Test statistic is minus 4.78, which is extremely negative. So, I mean, here 1% critical value should be minus 2.552, since the way we have performed the test, it's like a two-sided test. So anyway, it does not matter. Since this is the lower value, this should be minus 2.552. Again, that is for more of, one-sided part. Again, point is over here. Let's say you're performing at any level. Let's say you're performing at 1% level of significance. So this should be 0.5 percentile. I guess this what I have stated is 1%. So I mean this will not be relevant for a 1% level of significance two-tailed test. This would have been relevant for one-sided test. So again, you can ignore this. Another value would be there. Point is key. We would be having sufficient evidence to reject H naught. So this was there. Again, fairly short paper in the recent years. CS1 is one paper which, most of the students have tended to do exceedingly well. If we'll say the overall passing percentage released by IFoA for the initial exams, as well as basis, the results I see among my students as well as their peers. CS1 is one paper which most of them tend to, clear in the first attempt, especially ones who have meaningfully prepared. Ones who have not practiced well, obviously, much cannot be commented about their results. But the ones who have genuinely studied for even, let's say, 3 to 6 months, depending when they started their preparation, if they have done decently, practiced the past two papers, more often than not, they would end up, clearing this paper in the first attempt. And a lot of students have been scoring very high marks, 90 plus or so, also specifically in paper A, or even let's say combined as well in the recent terms. So hope that you all find this video useful. Please do like the video in that case, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so that you are updated with all the latest educational content we release. And do share this video among your peers as well who might have sat for CS1, so that they can take a look at the indicative solutions discussed by us, which would help them to make a more informed decision regarding what papers they should be selecting for the next year, for the next session, I will say, because they will have somewhat idea regarding whether they are short clearing the paper, short failing it, or again it's an in between wherein let's say they're scoring anywhere between 56 to 60. So then that's dicey. But again, it will just give them a better sense of data on basis which they could decide for the number of actual exams as well as the specific exam they would want to start preparing for the next session. Thank you, everyone.